Every man looks at his woodpile with a kind of affection. I love to have mine before my window, and the more chips, the better to remind me of my pleasing work. At night, there was never a traveler passed by my house, or knocked at my door, more than if I were the first or last man. I believe that men are generally still a little afraid of the dark, though the witches are all hung, and Christianity and candles have been introduced.
Dear Henry, tomorrow I need your assistance to guide a weary traveler toward the North Star. Like yourself, he is also named Henry. I will leave my instructions here at your cabin tomorrow morning, and they must be followed before the end of night. Most sincerely, A. Bronson Alcott.
I was as much affected by the faint hum of a mosquito making its invisible and unimaginable tour through my apartment at earliest dawn as I could be by any trumpet that ever sang of fame. In June, the partridge, which is so shy a bird, led her brood past my windows from the woods in the rear to the front of my house, clucking and calling to them like a hen, and in all her behavior proving herself the hen of the woods. The young suddenly disperse on your approach, at a signal from the mother, as if a whirlwind had swept them away. Sometimes the man in the bean field heard more of travelers' gossip and comment than was meant for his ear. Beans so late, peas so late, for I continued to plant when others had begun to hoe. Does he live there? Asks the black bonnet of the gray coat, and the hard-featured farmer reins up his grateful Dobbin to inquire what you are doing. It was a singular experience, that long acquaintance which I cultivated with beans. What with planting and hoeing and harvesting and threshing and picking over and selling them. The last was the hardest of all, I might add, eating, for I did taste. I was determined to know beans.
You must work more diligently on your writing, Henry. Don't be distracted with careless idles. Take care to discriminate between what appears and what is. Let others seem. Trust yourself to being. Open your senses and let nature think through you. Only then will you attain true culture.
Dear Emerson, I think you might be interested in our friend Thoreau's thoughts on the subject of slavery in Massachusetts. He has much to say that makes good sense. I may encourage him to write these ideas down for publication in Mr. Garrison's Liberator. What do you think? Yours sincerely, A. Bronson Alcott.
Dear Mr. Emerson, thank you for your hospitality of late. I look forward to our next conversations, and with Mr. Thoreau as well. He is a singular character, is he not? A young man with much wild, original nature in him, sophisticated in a way of his own, a keen and delicate observer of nature, and nature, in return for his love, seems to adopt him as her special child and shows him secrets which few others are allowed to witness. Yours, Nathaniel Hawthorne.
Henry, there you are.
Hello.
Ah, you found my Homer. Good for you, Henry. I wanted to look at that passage about the generations of mankind and how they're like the autumn leaves. You know the one I mean.
Yes, I've read it.
Well, that's good. I'd hoped you would, and that it would give you inspiration. Your experiment reminds me of the image of heroic life that Homer gives us. I wonder, can we all make our lives heroic in our quality of living, if not on the field of battle? Since you're here, I've also been looking all over for my works of Confucius. I was reading it the other day down by the marsh. Have you seen it there, by any chance?
I haven't seen it, but I can look for it.
Wonderful. Let me mark the very spot. I think I left it on your map so that you can find it.
That shouldn't be difficult to find. I'll see you again soon. Every day or two, I stroll to the village to hear some of the gossip which is incessantly going on there, circulating either from mouth to mouth or from newspaper to newspaper, and which, taken in homeopathic doses, was really as refreshing in its way as the rustle of leaves and the peeping of frogs. I observed that the vitals of the village were the grocery, the barroom, the post office, and the bank, and, as a necessary part of the machinery, they kept a bell, a big gun, and a fire engine at convenient places, and the houses were so arranged so that every traveler had to run the gauntlet, and every man, woman, and child might get a lick at him.
Here is Miss Sewell, come to visit her brother at the school again. I don't know which of our two professors looks more handsome. Do you, Ellen? John and Henry are regular peacocks when you are here with us. Come, let's all go for a row on the pond and settle their feathers.
June, 1839. Dear Sophia, I so enjoyed spending time with Henry and John on their recent visit. We went boating every day and took long walks in the woods. Henry knows so much about each of the plants and flowers, it is quite a marvel. And John is so jolly and fun. I hardly know which brother is a better companion, and I'm glad not to have to choose. Best, Ellen.
Dear Ellen, I think of our time together often, and hope that we will meet again soon. Till then, I send another poem for you. Two sturdy oaks, which side by side withstand the winter's storm, and spite of wind and tide, grow up the meadow's pride, for both are strong. Above they barely touch, but undermined, down to their deepest source, admiring, you shall find, their roots are intertwined, inseparably. Henry. Shall we always study to obtain more of these things, and not sometimes to be content with less? Signs were hung out on all sides to allure him, some to catch him by the appetite, as the tavern and the victualling cellar, some by the fancy, as the dry goods store and the jeweler's, and others by the hair or the feet or the skirts, as the barber, the shoemaker, or the tailor. Interesting.
Good day, Henry.
Good evening.
What can I do for you?
The mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. What is called resignation is confirmed desperation. From the desperate city you go into the desperate country, and have to console yourself with the bravery of minks and muskrats.
My dear Thoreau, I learned today that your essay is accepted to appear in Graham's magazine. It is likely to be paid for at the usual rate of $12, but I have not heard a word on that yet. I think you may need to wait until the article appears before making further inquiries on payment.
In the meanwhile, please send me more of the same short subjects as you have them ready, and I will be your agent in further business of this sort. Success to you, my friend, Horace Greeley. Ah, there you are, Henry. Still squatting out there in the woods, then? Hope that you're careful with your fires out there. We wouldn't want to see you burn down more of our fine woods.
Have not men improved somewhat in punctuality since the railroad was invented? Do they not talk and think faster in the depot than they did in the stage office? To do things railroad fashion is now the byword. Interesting. We boast that we belong to the 19th century and are making the most rapid strides of any nation. But consider how little this village does for its own culture. It is time that we had uncommon schools, that we did not leave off our education when we begin to be men and women. Our inventions are wont to be pretty toys, which distract our attention from serious things. They are but improved means to an unimproved end. We do not ride on the railroad. It rides upon us. The rails are laid on an Irishman or a Yankee man, and they are covered with sand, and the cars run smoothly over them.